temperature and things like that. I got in at 11 and fucking no one was there. Our kitchen was still padlocked shut.
Oh,
Oh.
God.
Yeah, and like, one of the team leads was on her way, but like all the people who were supposed to open just like straight up did not show up, and Nikki didn't bother to tell me.
Mm.
Um,
Why did
and
they
then there was
tell?
some new girl who came in, and it was her first day like on the job, so I had to like try to like walk her through everything as I was setting everything up. Um, and she didn't even get like any training videos or anything. They just threw her like straight in the kitchen.
Oh,
Um,
no.
and it took forever for me to get my lunch break, like 4 hours into my shift, because aside from the team lead, no one aside from like Nikki came in until like 3. Um, so it was Clownland was certainly Clownland.
Yeah. Damn, your work sucks, bro.
Yeah,
Where do you work?
Ghost Kitchen for Jack in the Box.
Hmm.
That's why it's Clownland.
Clownland, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Clownland, because they be goofing up.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Just straight goofs.
And I mean, I already ranted to you about this call-in, but I don't understand how she can complain about how hard inventory is when like it, or like how time-consuming it is. It's literally all she does. I have never. Oh, 1 second.
Caleb has a brain aneurysm from inventory talk.
No, they heard him talk and they had to take him the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. Those Jack in the Box people, they're vicious.
Jack in the
Sorry,
Box or
Andrew
like
was asking if I wanted
Wawa?
pizza.
Mm-hmm. That's code.
What's code?
Oh, ha ha ha. Wink, wink, Caleb. Wink, wink.
Oh, totally.
Totally accurate.
How you doing, Dalton?
Still trying to deal with the heart thing.
Oh no.
That's fair.
It is harder to get a doctor's appointment than I thought it would be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping you at least have some answers, though.
Not really. All I know is that my heart rate keeps spiking for no apparent reason, and it's going weirdly high. Don't know why.
That's no good.
No.
Yeah.
Speaking
Hmm?
of, currently wearing a Fitbit to keep track of that. And I have a certain number, and if I hit it, I may have to go lie down for a couple minutes, just
Mm-hmm.
so you're aware.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, ideally, this should be a more, I'll say, chiller session.
You say that, but the Orphan of Kos is staring at me.
I mean, it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. That's up to
This
you
is the season
fellows.
finale.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm confident that you'll get a doctor's appointment soon and you'll get some answers.
I hope so. Next, basically, I went to patient first to get it checked out the first time, and they told me to go to a certain cardiologist. Called that cardiologist, said they didn't get the referral. Called patient first, had them resend it. Called them again, they didn't have it still, and they told me to go to a different address, and it's a whole thing. I think I have to go in person to actually get anything done.
Yeah.
Healthcare is fun.
Yeah, really fun.
It's normal. I'm still trying to get an insurance company to pay off when I got all my rabies shots, because I am not liable to pay any of that since it happened at a workplace. So I need to either call them and be like, hey, why hasn't this been paid in full? Like contact my former employer and be like, why haven't you paid all this yet? and threaten to file work comp if they don't. So
Mhm.
that's fun.
Mm. Neat.
And I don't want to have to do that.
By the way, did Solandis end or something?
No,
No,
baby, we are going stronger than ever.
don't listen to that thing.
Yeah, things.
See, I just saw
From what I've
the
been-
"there shall be no more quests posted" thing, and I
Mhm.
wonder what that
I
means.
not gonna lie, that startled me too. But I believe Colin said we have like 3-ish sessions left and a free
3?
downtime.
Huh.
Oh, that's right, because we started. Oh, that's right. Yeah, that sounds about right.
See, don't listen to
Ah.
that entity.
No, it's because we were talking all yesterday about what we were going to do with all of our 10 that I completely forgot that we started at 6 detection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I forgot about that. I take it back. We're not going stronger than ever. But Marcus did have something really cool happen. So in spirit, we're strong.
In spirit.
Also, our morale is 0, so we are also not going strong in spirit.
Mhm.
Why
So-
did that? Was it from the moving cost?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There are pros and cons. Say that. However, past decisions of the party are coming and are nipping the brigade in the ass right now.
Mm. Yeah, I'm probably gonna read the notes tonight after session, just because I have been at work up until now today.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even know what I was gripping your shoulder about.
I think I do. Athena told me. Well, told me something that happened, and I saw the messages in the chat.
It's probably that then, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, also, somebody identified the 12th. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that.
And
I
hey,
assume we're not allowed to know who did that.
no.
Okay.
However, you guys can make guesses yourselves and
Oh, that's still
potentially-
open?
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
there are rewards. I'll say, because there are multiple different tiers of correctness for the guess. And this was the lowest tier of correctness, but still a correct answer.
Interesting.
So, if you want really cool stuff, that's an option. Who knows?
We don't get anything if we guess who guessed correctly.
No. I doubt you would be able to.
Okay.
And it may or may not be because you may or may not know them. So.
Fair
If-
enough.
If you just turn around and were like, Tom, be like, what the fuck? But hey, these are the options. But we have one option for tonight, and that's a session. So, Caleb, would you do the honors of giving the recap of last session?
Oh boy. Yeah, just adjust this real quick. Okay, we started off panicking about the banker, and kind of all the NPCs around us, Diana, Polydectes, Ocean, and Randall, they were kind of looking at us blankly, and were like, hey, are you guys alright? And apparently they had zero recollection of the banker showing up. And according to them, Celeste had died like all the way back when we fought Natvicha. According to them, we just kind of suddenly got really tense and panicked. Vicha tried to look at Neza's mark to figure out more about what it did, and his spirit save went very, very badly. Um, and he felt every single sensation ever in his body. To everyone else, he just kind of looked at the mark and collapsed. Um, let's see. Ocean also kind of transcribed recent events since getting to the laboratory. Everything looked the same when we read it, except Celeste wasn't there with us. Although they noted that us acting strange had occurred over a period of about 6 hours, which was odd because to us the banker situation was like 5 or 10 minutes. Um, we argued about what to do. Um, kind of after a lot of debate, we agreed to lure Borellian into the pocket dimension and to go outside of the lab, kind of near the Tempest Wood, um, in order to pull that off in case the banker had tampered with any of the wards still in the lab. Um, we went out there. Boudica got a very, very strange feeling of something like the world shaking. I believe that was only Boudica that felt that, correct? Or was that everyone?
Mm-hmm. Boudica.
Just Boudica. Um, Neza reached out to Brillian and um, got him to uh, arrive at the pocket dimension. Then we had agreed on not warning Borellian, but Neza kind of walked that back and was like, "Can we please, please, please warn him?" And we eventually, because time was running out, we told her to just go do something. Just be careful.
Well,
And she.
oh, go ahead.
Go on.
Go ahead.
She left a note
Mm-hmm.
of warning as well in the pocket dimension when she opened it up. Um, when Nisa and Berlin met, he asked what was going on, and she kind of unwrapped the bandage she had put on her hand to show the mark, and he immediately had a panic attack and started crying and having a really bad trauma response. Um, and we found out that he was completely cut off from the Ascendant power. He had like a kind of magic coin he used to travel here, but he has zero of his powers because the Prophet found out that Borellian let us get away. Um, and then while Neza was talking to him, the banker showed up and turned him into a howling pile of meat.
Well, no,
Um,
not as Neza was talking to him. Neza left.
oh, that's right, Neza left.
She was like, "Oh shit, you don't have any of my or any of your powers. Okay, hold on 1 second." So she hopped out of the pocket dimension, set up a teleportation circle that would take us to the Gray Gate that would go off in
That's
exactly
right.
2 minutes. It took her about 5 to 10 minutes to set that back up, and she went back in with the intention of attempting to mimic the bestow powers power to give Brillian some of her power. But when she hopped back in, take it away, Caleb.
A screaming pile of meat. Um, yeah, Neza tried to talk the banker into letting us go, and asked for Celeste back. He was basically like, no. Um, he kind of ripped a hole in the pocket dimension where he threw what was left of Borellian down into. Um, he he knew about Neza's note. Um, and then let's see. Yeah. Neza did her best to kind of talk him into letting us live so he could have more test subjects with when we saved the rings, but he did not care. Um, he was still really mad about her begging comment. Um, and then as
He's just lucky I
kind
didn't
of
say it a
he
second time.
Uh-huh. He reached like straight into her head to grab her actual skull. And then kind of in the pocket dimension outside, he started to do um, remote surgery on Polydectes, which was when Vicha used his patron power to trigger the teleportation circle early so we could get out, using all of the remaining seals on it. Um, and that got us all out, including Neza. The banker was not really deterred by this. He was delighted by the opportunity to hunt us to the ends of the rings. And he slipped a little piece of paper in Neza's pocket as she teleported out.
Mm-hmm.
And that was where we ended.
That is correct. As where we pick up, all of you appear outside of the Grey Gate. You can see in the distance its vast shape towering above the landscape. You're maybe about a quarter mile away as all of you appear. It's late, about 10 p.m. And as you all begin to appear, Vicha, you kind of look down at your blade and see the last bits of black smoke leaving the weapon as all the seals are gone. The entity within is free once more. But it's not here now. At this moment, I must ask, what are you all doing?
I think Neza had been crying, tries to now recollect herself. We should move as quickly as possible. Is everyone okay?
Polydectes is still screaming.
Oh shit. She'll hurry over.
My arm. Oh, fuck my arm.
You're okay. Is it still being operated on, or is it just open now?
It's not still being operated on at the moment.
It'll be okay. Elon, do you have anything numbing?
Do I?
Not really.
Would mend, greater mend, heal, doctor, any of these help?
I mean, it could help, like, with the arm to staunch bleeding and things like that.
Okay, yeah. I look for like a stick, like a wood stick,
Mm-hmm. You
and
can
I
find
give it
one.
to him
Okay.
to bite down on.
And he will.
And I start to try and patch his arm up to the best of my ability.
Gotcha. Make a mental check using your doctor power.
Okay. Five.
5. All right. Then, as you begin to work, Alon, you do a pretty admirable job with what's in front of you. You doubt that he'll ever be able to fully regain like the full range of motion in his arm again and in his fingers. It's more of probably a Doctor Strange-esque situation where a lot of the tendons and muscles and nerves have been fried, but you've saved the arm.
Yeah. And either way, there's going to be like a lot of physical therapy in his future.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I do my best to patch him up, and then I remove the stick and try to give him just some water and some food.
And at this point, I mean, he's sweating dark circles under his eyes. I'm guessing that Diana would have been there just kind of like holding him, making sure he doesn't fall backward, trying to make sure that he stays awake and everything. He'll just kind of like calmly drink water as it's passed to him. But overall, he seems absolutely exhausted.
Oh, I'm sure. Surgery is exhausting under any circumstances.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
Did what I think I can. The arm's gonna be okay.
That's good. Thank you.
And you think you have the... Are you awake enough to walk?
I can keep going.
Okay. If you need a rest, say so. We will carry you.
I can carry him, Dad.
Okay. Well, let's let him try on his own first, and then if he gives the word, then yeah.
Dana will nod, but she'll make sure to stay close to him.
Nisa will
I
also
will-
be staying close.
Yeah.
She was probably hovering throughout the surgery, trying to help where she could, but knowing she can't, so just staying out of the way.
Also, I look around just on the off chance that I think or know any of the plants around us or that we see on the walk could be used as painkillers.
This is all unfamiliar flora that is heavily tainted. So, you're not sure if you want to risk it.
Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't risk it with tainted plants. Dang it. Okay.
Is Randall still with us? Still okay?
He's definitely in like a little bit of a state of shock, but he's still with you all, yeah.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure since he was a bit further away.
Now he was with
How's-
Diana and Alon.
How's his recovery progressing?
It's going. I mean, all the strenuous physical activity and movement haven't been great for his recovery, but he's recovering as best as he can given the circumstances.
Sure. At best, sort of doctoral estimates, how long do I think it would take for him to be able to walk unassisted?
I mean, he can walk unassisted now. It's just like one of those things where it's not recommended to do,
Sure.
but he can do it.
Basically, what I'm asking is, how long will it take before we get from movement will mess up the scar tissue, tear the stitches, etc., to movement is required to exercise the things that have numbed by this point?
Yeah, at this point, you're probably looking anywhere between 3 to 10 days still.
Okay. All right. I forget, did we put him on a stretcher or have we just been carrying him?
You've just been carrying him or kind of having him walk
Okay.
on his own.
Do I think I could fashion a stretcher?
If you had material, you probably could, yeah.
I have blankets and a bedroll. I'd have to find some branches, but
I mean, with Boudica's help, you could probably get those materials and, craft something.
And by
I'd
God,
like
Boudica will help.
great. In that case, I'd like to do that.
Gotcha. Then, with you and Boudica combined, it can take probably about 30 minutes to get some branches using bedroll and blankets, create this makeshift stretcher.
Okay. help Randall onto it,
Mm-hmm.
and then ask Boudica to help me carry it.
I will, of course, do this.
Now let's get moving.
Right. Yeah.
To the Great Gate, then? Is that where you're progressing?
Great gate.
All right.
Okay.
Then, as you move forward, you've probably reached the gate at pretty much midnight. As you approach, you would see, kind of on the outside of it, a fair number of impure, just kind of there. None of them like anything great or new, but it seems like they have a solid watch on the gate. Maybe 40 or 50 of the normal infected, with a few crows sprinkled throughout.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Are there any paths through which to sneak, or does it seem pretty well stationed?
I mean, they've stationed this place pretty well, and it's not like these guards need to be rotated for sleeping or things like that. They just have them posted. And this current spot, I mean, if all of you are really, really stealthy, maybe you'd be able to get through. Although, a distraction, or at least a moving of sight lines, is probably required.
I go for the big explosion again.
I worry about that. So, one, they might have been told about us trying that the first time, and also it doesn't leave much to be investigated. They go to where they see it, see nothing else, turn back around. It'd be better if they had something to look at.
Fair. Please. Mm,
You could do an illusion of us running away, maybe. Draw them that way.
it's possible, yeah.
Maybe
Maybe that or somebody that
have.
they'd listen to. An illusion of one of the eminences over there on the hill or something.
Can't they detect that, whether or not it's real?
Possibly. I think I like the running away idea.
Have them split off in different directions. That means one force can't be sent off to follow them. If, multiple people in different directions, they'll have to send multiple detachments.
Okay.
Are we sure we don't want it to be just uninfected people, not necessarily us? Because I have a feeling that these things report back, and if there are reports of specifically us being sighted in the area, I don't like.
Are they going to care that much about regular uninfected people?
I would assume so, but I may be wrong.
The force necessary for regular uninfected people would be a lot less than what they would need for us.
That's a fair point.
And I, they're going to find out the gate is open. They're going to know it was us.
Also fair.
Alright then. So a group of us splitting up and running off in a bunch of different directions. can do
That's
that.
what I think.
Everyone ready?
I think so.
As I'll ever be.
Diana, Randall, Polydectes all ready?
As they can be.
Right. Then I will attempt to use Wizard's Spellbook to, if there's particularly dense foliage nearby, concentrating it, not nearby, but you know what I mean. Concentrating it there, beginning to attempt to craft an illusion of. I think it'll start with some rustling sounds, and then as soon as the at least one or two's attention is grabbed, it'll be like flashes of movement of our group before we'll say Naze's own voice in the illusion goes, scatter, and we all run off in a bunch of different directions.
Okay. Then go ahead and make a mental check.
Will do. That is going to be 9 successes.
Gotcha. Then, at first, the group of infected really don't care about the rustling. It will go on for a while, maybe like 15, 20 minutes before one crow just so happens to creep close enough to trigger the movement. And as soon as Naza yells, scatter, all the infected seemingly perk up, recognizing the group. And all the crows, so about 5 or 6 of them, and about half the total infected, so about a good 24, start to flow from the Great Gate in their posts, seemingly going and trying to pursue the fake Naza most as they are being led away. You have no idea how long they will be distracted, but you have at least an opening.
Go, 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 go.
I'm going.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So are all of you trying to sneak closer to the Great Gate using this cover? Not being seen? Or is this like an attack?
I'm assuming sneaking.
I'm assuming sneak.
Okay. Then all of you can go ahead and make physical checks at benefit 1.
Okay, I think I still have 1 tired left, unfortunately. But I get benefit 2 because I'm prestiged. I'm gonna go ahead and re-roll 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Benefit. So benefit 1 would be this.
Okay, full successes, which is 6.
Ooh.
9 successes.
Gotcha. Then, as everyone begins to run, Naza, you feel yourself just kind of basically grabbed by Boudica and Vicha as you're hauled from shadow to shadow. Alon, you have your weapon kind of in your hands, constantly motioning to the party as all of you move silently until you are right up against the Great Gate. There are like 2 infected close by, and kind of in this moment, it's a simultaneous assault. As Boudica, you come up from behind one infected, snapping its neck, as simultaneously, Alon, you put a shot right through the head of the other one. Right next to the gate now.
Okay. I think
Yeah,
Naze
Naze, do your thing.
Yeah, she's snatching back the papers from Vicha and then using Voyant's Artful Passage.
Okay. Then, in this moment, you take a breath, Naza. And as you do, you start to hold out that hand. All of you feel a shifting, really. As before you, the gate begins to glow. Ancient runes lighting up one by one. You watch Vicha as they start to climb up and up and up along the sides of the gate. As all of you see the metal, the mithril in front of you begin to waver and shimmer. You hear the calls of the infected behind. And Neza, as you finish this enchantment, I'm going to need you to make a spirit save for me.
Ooh, that's not good for me. At all. One success.
Alright. Then...
Is this something that 2 successes would make a significant difference over 1?
You don't know.
I'll use 1 hero point. Yeah, no. 1 success.
1 success. Then, as you have your hands out and are reciting this incantation, you feel this presence interact with you. For what purpose do you pass through this gate?
We're trying to find the Ascendant Garden and save Estelle. She's been corrupted somehow, and there are a lot of people that are trying to find her. We're trying to find her before they do. Save the rings, the cosmic stack, everything from this corrupting force.
Do you have a libation stone?
Do we? Does that ring a bell?
Not initially, no.
I'm sorry, I don't know what a libation stone is.
In this moment, then, you feel this burst of energy and almost revelation within you. So, I can now reveal there's a whole secondary arc that y'all have been hopping over as well, as there are multiple areas within Lords. The Ceaseless, the Tempest Wood, the area around Glane called the Meadows, and other locations that are connected to different stones that Voyant possessed that allowed him to shift and manipulate the area kind of to his whim, to control the nature of this primordial ring, at least in the Lord's area. And you would know one is in the university. One of the stones was entrusted to the Storm Witches, and one of the stones was possessed by Voyant himself. Another stone was in Lords, too, given to the aristocracy, the last the gate knows of it. And these stones contain a series of powerful abilities. They allow for things like making it so a creature cannot be deceitful. One of them allows for complete spatial awareness within an area, and the understanding of the natural world. Another allows for the manipulation of magical forces in the area. Like, they cover a very wide set of forces within this place, as Voyant wanted. You do not have any of those. And so you feel the gate press against you, Neza, like there is resistance. However, your argument is enough to let you pass, except you feel kind of this force flow over your hand, and it feels the banker symbol. And you just feel like this lethargy pass over you, Neza. Your stamina points are reduced to 0, and there are some other effects that I will DM to you. But
Oh lord.
the gate's open.
Is Neza unconscious?
No, conscious.
I'm waiting to see whether I should say ow or not.
I don't think
I
it's...
think as the gate hurrying through.
Yeah, Russian.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's still stealthy, if possible, but
Gotcha.
it's open. Veach is trying to slip inside.
So is Neza if able. Mostly though trying to help the others in through first before heading in as well.
Gotcha. Then, there you go. And Naze is going inside?
After everyone else is inside, yes.
Gotcha. You may certainly do this. As the rest of you begin to pass inside, the Great Gate opens, revealing through the gates themselves this passageway through the mountains. However, for the first time, all of you have made your way through. And you could tell, Boudica, as you enter into this place, the air here is different. There is this vibrancy here, like this churning of primordial magic that you really haven't been experiencing lately in Lords. But it is a controlled churn. Like a lava lamp of energy. Up and down, spinning around, but predictable in a sense.
Interesting.
And Alon as well, as you pass through this area, you don't see any Estelle flowers around in this place. You see the blooming of mountainous flowers and plants here in the early morning light. But overall, it seems more normal.
Looking at the gate, is there any way for us to close it, or is it starting to close on its own, or does it just seem like it's
You
open
just pass
now?
through the metal, remember?
Oh, we just okay, cool.
Great. How's Nasal looking?
Confused? Tired? Otherwise okay, question mark? That question mark is directed at Colin, not in character.
Man, who even knows?
You all right there?
Tired. But otherwise okay, yeah.
How many
Mhm.
fingers am I holding up?
How many is he holding up?
He's holding up 4. The question is, can you tell?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
4.
That took you
I
a
was-
second, but I'll
I was
accept it.
debating whether to make a joke or not, and then I decided it probably wasn't a good idea.
Yeah, you're okay. Okay, let's keep moving.
Gotcha. So you're...
I am look.
Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that as we continue down the mountain path, I will look around, like, see if, because we just came through just massive gate, I'm curious if I can see in the mountains or on the path any other sort of structures.
Yeah. Go ahead and make a physical check.
Okay. Four.
4. Then, as you're moving forward, you would see kind of along this path old foundations of homes. Like, there once was a time where people sporadically lived in this kind of passageway through the mountains. You don't think that these houses were destroyed by anything other than just nature itself over time. But you would also see signs of activity maybe over the years. You would see that there appear to be signposts still up, maintained with twine string, so they're not destroyed. You would also see tracks through this passage, although the tracks themselves seem more of the infected variety.
Oh. Um, what language are the signs in?
As you look, they're Voixian.
Okay. What do they say?
As you kind of look at them, there are signs like berry patch through, like, and it's pointing in like a direction through the mountains, and it says 1 mile. There is another sign that says, "Welcome, travelers. Percher's home always open." And
Is this next to a foundation?
not necessarily, no. It's just pointing down the trail, actually. And it would indicate probably like 30 miles. There would be other points where it seems like it's more like almost like a dig site as you're passing by along, with almost like a homemade furnace and blacksmithing kit. And Boudica, you would see this. And as you would walk over and start to look at the molds, it seems like someone here over the years had been making almost like fishing hooks and other equipment of the like. It's almost like there have been people who've just been combing over the ruins here and using whatever was left behind.
I think I'll if are there only molds of fish hooks, or are there some fish hooks lying around?
Oh, there are some fish hooks lying around too.
Boudica will tuck away some of the fish hooks and say, "Well, this wasn't exactly what I was expecting to see behind here. I was thinking it was going to be kind of like a mystical garden of some sort, but looks like people have been living here."
Suppose so. Is the are we in like a valley? Like, is the terrain more or less flat besides the mountains on either side, or is it all just sort of up and down?
It's all kind of up and down. You could consider this a valley, as the peaks on either side rise to about a mile, mile and a half tall in some areas. And this is like technically a flatter part, more navigatable part. Sometimes being a little more than a mountain pass, other times leveling out into more valley and meadow type terrain.
Huh. I guess continue on our way, going down the path.
Gotcha. Then, as you continue to travel down the path, you would be in this valley traveling straight for about 2 days. is there anything that you would be doing during this time of travel through this strange place?
You said I saw tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Do I continue to see them over the 2 days?
Yes, and they would be increasing steadily. Like you're heading towards more populated areas.
Okay. Am I also seeing animal tracks?
As you look around, yeah, you are seeing animal tracks. For the first time in a long time, you would look up on a slope along, and you would see just a herd of mountain goats grazing on vegetation.
Hmm. Um, I think over the 2 days, Ilan is keeping a close eye on any tracks we see, specifically trying to gauge freshness.
Gotcha. Make a mental check then.
4.
4. Then, with a 4, you would find that the freshest tracks be that of like boots mainly, and
Uh-huh.
they would be probably 3 or 4 days old. As you look at them, someone running across the mountainous peaks at pretty good rate of speed. Those probably aren't the tracks that catch your attention most, though, as you start to make your way kind of more out of the pass itself, as the mountains kind of start to level out into more rolling field, meadow, and you would know this, Alon, since you're Carthonian, more coastal tidewater-esque area. Like it's leveling out almost like you're reaching a more oceanic landscape. And so it's more easy for you to see the large grooves in the ground. It's like there's a serpent around here, Alon, a good
Oh.
7 or 8 feet across. Huge grooves in the ground that run along these trails. If you had to guess, based on your knowledge, probably weighs anywhere from 5 to 6 tons.
Oof. Okay. I guess 2, maybe 3 additional questions. One, when you say shoreline, like, am I smelling salt, or does it just sort of, or do I hear any waves, or does it just sort of look like that geographically?
All of you can make physical checks.
Because we're doing this over the course of 2 days, would the last of my tired be gone?
Yes.
Okay.
6.
Ooh, 1 success.
Okay.
3
It's a
successes.
miracle.
Gotcha. So, as you all are walking, you don't smell ocean necessarily, but as you're getting closer, it's like you're beginning to smell vinegar. That's the only way to describe it. Something more acidic. But as the journey continues, you'd start to hear waves.
Huh. Okay. The other question was, given that this is a days-long journey, are we seeing campsites?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
It doesn't seem like there are these places or points. However, you would occasionally be stopped by Diana, and as she'd be checking around, there are multiple booby traps around this trail. And she kind of turns back to you. The people, they, kinda, I guess they're not people. Maybe they are. I don't really know. But they like to set traps like these to get travelers. And she kind of takes a stick and pokes at a point in the ground, and the false cover falls away, and it's like a pit that goes about 15 feet deep. And the bottom is covered with like this thick orange sap. It's almost like a quicksand trap. But mainly it's more like really sticky honey or amber. I didn't think that they would be this far down here, or that they would be trapping this place like this.
Yeah, this feels weird even for them.
Huh. I can take the lead, I guess, and I'll make sure that we don't hit anything that we don't wanna.
Yeah, for sure. You're our expert in this area.
Just, stay where I can see you.
I don't plan on venturing off.
I still keep on dreaming about that thing. How it almost got us.
I think Alon goes in to give her a hug.
And she'll give you a hug back.
We're all right here. We're all together.
Right. I know that. All right here.
I know you do. But sometimes you need reminding anyways. Everyone does.
Mm-hmm. I'll make sure that we all stay together.
I know you will.
And she'll kind of take the lead and continue scouting. And she'll pick off another probably dozen or so booby traps along the course of the journey.
Final question.
Mm-hmm.
With the snake trail,
Yes.
do I find scales or skin shedding or maybe even teeth? Or is it just smooth groove, nothing in it?
You would find teeth of varying sizes. The smallest tooth is probably like 2 inches, like a small tooth that you might find with like a dog or a cat. The biggest tooth is the size of Boudica.
Mm.
And it seems to be like wedged into a rock just along the path.
When you say wedge, does it look like it bit into the rock, or?
Yeah, like this tooth bit in, cracked the rock, and is like nestled inside of probably a half ton of slate.
Okay. I am, of course, sharing all of this as I find it. I'm not keeping any of this to myself.
Hey guys, look, a tooth! Oh, thank you, Alon. We never would have seen it. Big tooth.
Yeah,
in
I know.
rock.
You guys, look, another tooth. Another tooth. Another tooth.
Boudica audibly gulps. Oh,
6 hours later, another tooth.
oh,
Tooth.
no. Guys, that's a big tooth.
If possible, if we're still accepting submissions for things we're doing,
Mhm.
on the first night, Naze would like to approach Polydectes just to check in and see how he's doing. Especially
Gotcha.
post-involuntary surgery. And then voluntary surgery.
Yeah, I mean, he's not doing great. Like, as he's kind of sitting back, he's just drinking water and seems to be, like, almost nodding off to bed and kind of give you a smile. What a day.
Okay, yeah. Are you doing okay?
It's a loaded question.
There.
About you?
Wanted... Uh, fine. All things considered, I suppose. Although that's also quite a loaded question.
Yep.
I suppose, wanted to say thank you for traveling this far with us. Even though it's gotta be way out of your comfort zone, and
Really
more
didn't
than
have
any
a
of us.
choice.
I suppose, yeah. But thank you anyway, and I'm sorry that we dragged you into all this. Suppose we couldn't have made it this far without your help either.
I don't know how much help will be. He'll kind of look down at his arm. I don't know how dexterous I'll be anymore with this one. Our Fisser's livelihood is his hands.
Want help building a cool bionicle? Do what I can.
Right.
In the meantime, though, if you need any help, I'll be here. We all will. And if you wanted to talk it through or anything, I'm also here for that as well. We all are.
Do you think if that thing finds us again, we'll be able to get away?
I don't know. I think that question probably like instantly brings tears to her eyes, but she's like choking it back. I always like to have hope, but it's hard against a thing like that.
Right.
Especially how easily took out Beryllian.
Right. Sorry I brought it up.
No, don't be sorry. It's a good question.
We should all probably get some sleep.
Yeah. Here, though. And she'll pass him her little vial of endless water. For the road, so you don't have to keep refilling as often.
Thank you. I'll use it well.
Hope so. And I suppose she will head off to bed.
Mm-hmm. Then is there anything else you guys would like to be doing as you continue your travel?
You just probably not doing anything too specific, but he would be kind of noticeably keeping his distance from the group. Probably, trailing behind them to keep an eye on things as we go, and kind of, at the fire during meals and stuff, he'll grab food, but then he'll probably be like a good ways away from them. Yeah, he's keeping his distance.
I think after the first day, and on the second, Diana would try and head over to Vicha then. And she'd just try and sit down next to him. Not like right next to him, but, in his vicinity.
He'll just kind of, he'd look up to her and slide over a little, kind of gesturing for her to, and it's fine.
And she'd just eat in silence a bit, just kind of allowing a shared space and atmosphere to be established. And then she just kind of look over to you and say, "I'm sorry. I know what it's like to lose people. To things beyond what we could understand. And for reasons that seem crazy. I can't do anything more than just say if there's any way that we can get them back, I'll try and help you."
I appreciate that. It's... I know they weren't close to Celeste, but it's hard seeing them act like nothing happened. I feel like Brilliant was right about them when he said they tend to... people's lives don't tend to end well around them. I'm sorry about your losses as well.
Sometimes I think it could have been different, but for better or for worse, we're the ones that are here. And they're the ones that are helping or trying to help make things better. I carried and I still carry a lot of emotions. I just, trying to carry all that alone. It can be too much sometimes.
Yeah. I'm all ears if you want.
I don't think that there's anything to say, but I'm gonna try and get my people back. My mom, the friends, people that were nice to us.
And I hope you can. They didn't deserve any of this.
Neither did Celeste. I really liked her for what it was worth. We didn't talk all that much, but she was kind to me.
Yeah, she was extraordinarily kind. She's the reason the arena didn't grab me into a paste. And she's the reason I was able to get out here to kill the fake version of myself that was traveling with you all. To trap him, at least. Although that's... who knows where he is now.
That doesn't matter. Not really. Other him being out, that is, just... She helped, and in the moment, she made things better.
Did. God, she got a raw fucking deal.
A lot of us got a raw fucking deal.
Yeah.
If you ever need anything, just let me know. And I think Diana would just go back to eating and allow the silence to take the place of conversation.
Kind of nod in gratitude. And he'll keep eating. He seems, I wouldn't say relaxed given the everything, but probably more relaxed than he's been around any of the party members.
Gotcha.
I should say any of the main PCs. He's probably more fine with Polydectes, Randall, Ocean.
Then, is there anything else you guys are wishing to do as travel continues?
I'd like to approach Alon eventually, assuming he's okay, in between bursts of finding teeth.
Okay.
Sure.
And it'd probably go for somewhere, actually probably right after the conversation with Polydectes, so it's a little bit quieter out. And she's able to, have more of a private or conversation. I have a question, if that's okay. And please be really cool about it.
Okay.
I was wondering if you'd be able and willing to help me get this mark off my hand.
How?
I don't know. You're a doctor, a surgeon.
Yeah, but I'm not a mage, and I don't know much about the banker aside from, the horror stories I heard as a kid. I got no knowledge in this area.
You think, I don't know, a skin graft of something might work?
You mean taking the skin off and putting skin back where it used to be?
Something like that, yeah.
I'll be honest with you, Neza, I don't know if cutting the arm off will get rid of it.
I mean, that was planned too. Okay. I feel like it's a bad idea to keep it on.
I would agree. I just. This being the banker, whatever it actually is in terms of makeup, you and me have done a lot of stuff. We've gone to a lot of places, we've seen a lot of things. I honestly don't know what we've encountered that could be comparable in this scenario.
Not entirely sure either.
Not to mention the fact that this being seems to have a particular what would the word be? Penchant for uh surgery and body alteration and modification. I don't know if getting rid of it physically will actually help the underlying problem.
At this point, I'm just willing to try almost anything. Especially after it started. I don't know, affecting everyone else as well. Even those that have no business even being dragged into this, like Randall and Polydectes.
Saying that I would be happy. I would be real ecstatic to try and get rid of that thing. If I wasn't fairly certain that the second I took Blade to your skin, he would see it and feel it and show up.
Can he even reach us through the Grey Gate, though?
I don't know, and I
You
don't want to
saw.
find out.
I mean, you saw how long it took the cult to figure out how to get past it.
I don't think the cult has anything like that.
Okay.
Again, I would love to help, but I think I may be off base. I may be very wrong, but I think that attempting removal will make the situation worse. And it's already pretty bad. I don't even want to think what worse looks like.
Sure. Thank you, though, for thinking about it at least.
Of course. And if we figure out a way to help you, I will be on it in a second. But I think there's just too many unknowns with this.
I'm not too worried about. I mean, worried, obviously, but in a grander sense, I mean, I'm not looking to help myself by removing it. Like I said, I'm just
I
trying to keep it from affecting you guys.
I understand. It's again very appreciated, but still, I don't trust that.
I get it, yeah. It's okay.
Yeah.
Keep an eye out for any miracles that fall from the sky.
Hey, who knows? Maybe it rains them back here.
Is very uncomfortably reminded of their time in the drift, where it rained miracles, and then just not. Thank you anyway.
Trying to get some sleep.
Will do. You too.
Thanks.
She will attempt it.
To go to sleep?
Yes, not to cut the arm off.
Okay.
That's for later.
Okay.
Oh.
Not literally immediately later, but like, you know,
Later.
You
later,
better
later.
be miles away from us when you try that. Not even
Yeah.
rings away from us.
I feel like
Dimensions away.
Naze is the type of anxious college student who Googles any type of
And it's cancer.
yes.
I feel like she wouldn't Google it and find it's cancer, but she'd be like, "Oh, obviously it's not cancer. I know what cancer is. Holy shit, is this the rarest disease known to man and I have it?" Oh my god.
And then starts looking up stories of people who have committed surgery on themselves and lived.
Yeah, and then goes, "I could probably do that. I mean, I'm getting all A's in my sociology course. So much a little surgery."
Ah, yes. The overconfidence of a college student. But is there anything else you guys are wishing to do as you journey through the Grey Gate and the passageway beyond?
And really just hovering, making sure Alexis is doing okay and doesn't need anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he could be doing a lot better. He's not doing great. But
if there's anything that she can do, she'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
As we travel, Alon is
pillows,
also looking in on his patients.
Yep. And Randall is holding up well. Oceane is trudging along, too. As, again, from her perspective, she was at the Meraviglia, then she woke up, her quote-unquote allies started going crazy, then they were attacked by the banker, then they've been walking for a few days. So she's kind of in a little bit of shell shock at the
Sure.
But as you continue at kind of 2 o'clock on the second day of travel, Diana comes back from scouting over a hilltop and says, I think you guys should see this.
What you got?
I think it's a shipyard. Not quite sure, though.
Okay, yeah, show me.
Alright. And Alon's going. Are the rest going?
Beach is going.
Alright. Then, as you all kind of follow Diana, she brings you over a few rises as you look down at a home. It sits on the edge of this bubbling ocean of some sort. You would guess, Alon, and Vicha would be able to tell this as well, it does seem acidic in nature. The home itself is, 2-story complex. It looks to have had a barn at one point, like a small dock, made of some sort of metal that went out into the ocean. However, there is now more beside this home. There is an operation of sorts, full of infected here. There are broken and rundown ships here, in various stages of decay, seemingly eaten through by the acid of the ocean. However, there is like a ship docked in what is essentially Boudica, a harbor that has been constructed in this area. And there are another 2 ships, Neza, that are in the process of being constructed. There are probably a few hundred infected here, working around the clock, assembling these ships. This is Picher's home, Alon, you would think. The distances line up about right as you kind of look upon it. It seems like they are building vessels to traverse this ocean.
So they have like a full dry dock?
Yep, full dry dock.
Jeez.
Full harbor constructed and built. Like, as you're looking at this, they have quite the operation going. They were not idle once they realized how to get through the Grey Gate, because, in those years that you guys have been gone, once they figured it out, they started this building operation, which took more time, resources, and energy, but they put that energy into it. And you can see the hulls of many, many, many acid-eaten ships. Like, this was a trial and error process. But it looks like at least one ship, like a Karak, probably from what you can see from this distance, three-masted Karak, anchored down, chain across the bow, tethering it to the harbor, is just still sitting there, seemingly untouched by the acid.
Can I tell what the ships are made of?
Make a mental check. With benefit 1, because Polydectes is here.
Okay. 4.
4. Looking at this, from the best you're able to tell, they have like a silver bottom to them, like just plated on silver with runes carved into the sides, like layers and layers and layers of enchantments. And then kind of up the rest of the side, there are other more acid-resistant metals to them. The only wood on these ships are on the actual decks themselves, but even parts of the masts are metal. And from what you can tell, due to Polydectes' kind of guidance, they've even seemingly enchanted some of the sails as well, likely to make it so that they could stand up to the spray of the ocean, because it would be acidic. So you can't have your sails just melting and disintegrating.
The wrecks of ships, does all the damage look from the acid, or is some of it like age and just erosion?
Some of it seems to be from the acid. There does seem to be one ship that has more of a massive claw mark on the side of it. So it looks like maybe the local wildlife wasn't too pleased.
Okay. Now that we're closer, can I tell what exactly the ocean's made of? Like, is it just straight acid, or is it something more specific?
Seems to be just straight acid. Probably something even stronger than like carbonic acid.
And last thing is, all of these seem like big ships. There's no like smaller boats. It's all big ships.
You can see that there are the wrecks of some cogs about. Actually, I would say you and Boudica can either both make mental checks, or you can make a mental check at benefit 1, Alon, to try to get some more information.
You make the mental check at benefit 1. My I don't got a lot of mental.
Yeah. 5.
5. Boudica, you managed a business for 24 hours at one point, but you had been around your family's business for longer than that. And so you'd be able to recognize an assembly line, a crew, and looking at this dry dock, how the materials are laid out, the way the furnaces are, and just the overall operation, you would think that, you know, of course, there are more ships that have been produced other than the one in the harbor. You can see that. But even more than that, like, they kind of are getting this down to a science. They probably don't have just one working ship. They might have sent smaller ships out just to test the waters, as it were. And so you would think that the smaller ships might have been sent out, and now they're slowly scaling up the operation. And you, as you look at some of the cogs and the smaller ships about Alon, they definitely have designs for smaller ships, but you don't really see any of them in dock right now.
And none of them besides the one they're actively working on, seem to be in working order?
Yeah. I mean, the one that's floating in harbor, they're not even actively working on it. Like, they might be putting finishing touches on it, but they even have it, like, christened at this point, as you can see, in brilliant gold Voixian along the side. It says the Mantis.
So, you said there were hundreds down there?
Hundreds in the dry dock, yeah. And I mean, there are patrols around. You can see that as well as you're
Does
up on this vantage point.
the ship itself seem occupied?
The ship itself, like from what you can see, there are few infected on the ship. Not too many, but if you had to guess, just looking at what's on deck, like 4 or 5 of the regular infected.
Elon's gonna sort of duck back down the lip of the ridge they're on. Okay. What are we thinking?
Steal the ship?
Do I think that we could crew a ship that size with just our people?
It would be difficult, theoretically possible. Like, you do have superhuman people, so
Sure.
yeah, for pulling up the anchor when you might need a whole crew, now you're just like, Boudica, pull up the anchor.
Yes, boss. That was my warm-up weight.
Well, I think it's either that or play stowaway.
We don't even know how far this thing's going, Dad. Or where this
we
thing's
don't.
going. What they're doing.
Well, given the amount of wrecks, and, well, frankly, the amount of desperation that looks like they're working with, I would say that their end goal somewhere on the other side of this acid. I would say we want to get there first, but that is a lot to sneak through. What do y'all think? Looking at Neza and Boudica specifically.
We wanna...
As long as we're careful about it, stealing the ship shouldn't be terrible.
Yeah, I just worry about stowing away. We'd have to hide for all that time, and if we have to fight on the boat because we're discovered, we might destroy part of it, and we might sink into the acid ocean, and I don't think that would be particularly good.
And I don't think we want to be that close to those creatures for as long as we would have to stow away.
I'll keep in mind that if we steal it ourselves, then it will be us and us alone who will also have to be dealing with whatever did that, pointing to the claw marks on the one boat.
Still think stealing it is the better option. That gives them one less operational boat to get across, and I don't think ideally, we wouldn't be letting them get across at all, but I don't know if we have any method of destroying the ones they're currently building.
And if we do stow away and run into that thing, it's not like we could jump out and fight it without also having to fight a whole ship full of infected. But if we're on our own ship and run into that thing, at least we have a chance. They're surviving. Or running or something.
Looking again, does it seem like the ship is being loaded with supplies or anything?
It does seem like they are loading supplies into it. Crates of material. You can see the crack is outfitted with at least 4 ballista. And one of them is like on the bow of the ship, very front, kind of on a swivel as well. And they're like loading up bolts and things of that nature too. Of course, you don't know what's in the hold, but a Karak can, move a lot of cargo.
Yeah. All right. If piracy the way is the way we want to play it, then
Piracy's my vote.
can I also look sort of up and down the shoreline itself and see if I can spot anything else that's built up?
Sure. Can make a physical check at Benefit 1, and anyone else who wishes to as well.
I'll jump in on that.
Why not? I can't see shit. That's alright. 1 success again! We are killing it with physical today.
You're really not.
Physical, you said?
Yeah, physical.
6.
4 for Vicha.
3.
Okay. Then,
Because I'm working out her eyes.
yeah. And as you are looking, you'd be able to kind of look and see kind of along the shoreline, ordering individuals around Boudica. One Quinn Hayes, seemingly kind of with papers in hand, shouting orders, looking like they're trying to pick up the pace with this operation. Now, Alon, you would see something else too as you're looking around. You'd also spot Quinn. But then you'd see a pile of rocks kind of down the shore. And you'd see some teeth next to it. And as you look closer, you'd recognize that the Briar Hydra is also here.
Oh.
But finally, like Vicha, with your knowledge and expertise and background, you would specifically notice that many papers and notes and diagrams, maps even, are being shuttled to and from Quinn's location and the dry dock from the actual like main house that they seem to be using as, you know, like a storage facility, like an office space of sort. That's what you all would be able to see. And Nacy, you would be able to see that the sea is relatively calm today. Some waves, but nothing too bad.
Neat. Oh, good day for sailing, I guess.
Maybe we should get a look into that house before we take the ship.
Went into
Yeah,
the
but
house.
most of the... what was that?
No, go ahead.
Most of the infected we're seeing are actively kind of like working on things, correct? Have we been seeing a lot of them going in and out of the house? Or aside from like delivering the papers and stuff, does it seem fairly quiet?
I mean, it's certainly less active than the dry dock. I don't want to say that, there's not some constant activity, but you think that there's probably two or three going in and out every 10 minutes.
Getting some insights on what they're doing could be very good for us.
Okay.
How far are we from the house currently?
From this vantage point, you're probably half a mile away. Probably 3/4 of a mile.
Okay. Does it have windows or any kind of transparent opening, or is that not something we can see from this distance?
Oh yeah, I mean, it seems like once it was a regular shipside house. It's got windows.
Mhm. If we can get within 30 feet of the house, I could teleport inside. I don't know if it would be. Well, I don't know if tapping into that would be a great idea, but it could get us some answers.
I don't think that's a bad plan. I'd probably say that you shouldn't go fully alone, though. I'd be willing to go with you if you need.
I can as well.
If you're comfortable with that, yeah, I don't mind if you come with Diana, and maybe if I can open the window from the inside, I could potentially let you in. Uh, that way. And Delon as well, that's fine.
Sure.
Honestly, I don't care about you letting us in, just that there are people nearby in case something goes wrong.
Right.
So, are we doing this first and then regrouping? Or are we doing this all at once?
I would assume breaking into the house and then regrouping. I think trying to get from the house directly to the ship while many things are going on at once would be difficult.
Gotcha. So then, are some of you setting off for the stealth mission? All of you? What's the plan?
And I think if the rest of you want to come with just to be at least kind of nearby, that could be a good idea. Just so we have backup. Um, I'm comfortable if less of us go inside, though. Um, just, less people who can make a racket.
And Lord knows Neza was not built for stealth.
Yeah, okay.
So is the plan you three go inside while Boudica and Neza are outside? And the others as well?
Well, right now we're, I think, determining if you guys are following us to wait outside or if you're staying kind of in this relatively safer area.
I'm good to follow, assuming everybody else is.
Yeah.
Okay, so we all move in a little closer, but the three of us go right to the house.
Yeah.
Oh, and Ace will attempt to gently take Randall's alarm glasses and pass them over to Vicha. These are, if Buddha and I are staying outside while you guys go in, these will alarm us if anything bad happens inside.
I'm fine without that. I'm sure you'll hear a lot of shouting if something happens.
Okay. Ilan, do you want to hold on to him just in case you need
Yeah, I'll
a,
take him.
get us out of here right now, immediately button?
I'll take him.
Okay.
All right. Then Vicha, Alon, and Diana are setting off for the house. Cool.
Yep.
I'd like both of you to make physical checks then. Try and approach.
Oh, no. Ignore that. Sorry.
4. I'm gonna reroll one of those.
Okay.
That
I'll go
last
ahead and reroll one as well.
Yeah, no. 4.
Mm-hmm.
5.
Gotcha. Then, as the three of you are sneaking, you go without incident. As you go through the streets and overall like setup of this area, you're able to dodge patrols pressing up to the side of this older looking house. You're able to see here, Alon, the trees seem more gnarled and corrupted, and there are Estelle flowers blooming here. The devout, the infected, are causing the Ascendant power to spread even here. But you've reached your location. There are patrols about. What you doing?
Right. I think as we've kind of seen the patrols move in and out, have we kind of been able to get like a good estimate of their patterns?
You'd be able to generally see the cycles. They're not as sharp, you think? That or the pattern is so precise that you're not able to really follow it. It's not
Gotcha.
just they're not just going in loops. That's what you're able to tell. And there are multiple different squads and patrols moving in all sorts of different patterns.
Right. I think suppose step one is to kind of, is there a window I can see through at this point?
Mm-hmm. As you peek through it, you look at what once was like a living room or foyer that is now piled high with documents and maps. As you can see, one of the infected kind of shambles through, searches through a pile of papers, seemingly grabs blueprints of some kind, shuffles out.
Okay, I guess. Shortly after that one shuffles out, that'll hopefully give us some time in that room. So Vicha will go ahead and blink into the room, kind of
Gotcha.
staying near the window, but just, appearing on the opposite side of it.
Then, boom, you blink into the room.
Great. Looking at the window from the inside, is there kind of a locking mechanism or something I can kind of try to quietly mess with just so other people can get in?
It's unlocked.
Oh, okay. Then Vicha will try to quietly kind of open that so the others can come through if they would like. And then he'll start rummaging through some documents.
Gotcha. Then, as Diana goes inside, Alon, will you go inside as well?
Yeah.
All right. Then, as both of you are here, for at least this moment, since you looked at the patrols, went in silently, haven't been caught or even hinted at being here, each of you gets one question to ask as you're rifling through these documents. No roll required. You'll get the max as you're going through. Every subsequent question or thing you're trying to look for will be a roll.
This is your rodeo. You go first, Caleb.
God. Okay. What have they found on the other side of the ocean? On, whatever path they're taking the ships down.
What have they found? So, they refer to kind of plans, and an individual, Pesher, who told them as they arrived that Estelle headed for the Great Taloncore tree. He told them it was east.
Okay. Interesting.
But otherwise, the expedition hasn't found anything yet. They departed a few weeks ago, and Weishin was leading it, along with Agnes, who was there to kind of keep him in line, and a few other impure, meaning like a ship full of them. Actually, they took 4 ships traveling. And their goal was to find the garden. But they haven't found anything yet.
Yeah. What is their strength here on the other side of the gate? People, supply, all that sort of thing.
Right. So, their strength has been bolstered recently due to the interactions with the party, knowing that you're in the area, as well as Helmuth being seen, Quinn being beaten back. You would find mentions of Quinn being in the area, Julie being in the area, obviously the Briar Hydra, Agnes and Wishin departed. For a period of time, Arnaud Bouchard was here, but seemingly has departed. You're looking at, in this area, about 500 to 600 infected that are helping with the shipbuilding operation currently, and about 200, 250 were sent on the expedition out.
Mhm. Can I sort of ask for an additional detail, or would that be a roll?
It depends on what the detail is, but
Does any of this make any statements as to this house's original occupant?
you would gather that it would be actually you'll get an answer, but go ahead and make a mental or physical check to see how much you get.
Okay. Six.
6. Okay. As you begin to look through, the original occupant was an older Fey folk man named Pesher. Pesher had been around for a long time, generationally here on the other side of the Grey Gate. They infected him with the Van Rome virus and currently have him upstairs drawing maps and sketching things out. Just whatever they can do to extract that knowledge out of him and get accurate data, maps, and whatever he can share.
Okay. Sorry, another clarification. Does it, from these specific writings that I'm looking at, does it seem like the infection went smoothly, I guess is the best way to phrase it?
Yeah, it went smoothly.
Okay. So he is doing this, well, I don't want to say willingly, but not under extreme duress.
Correct, not under duress.
Gotcha.
Forget. Did we have some of the cure still on us, or did we give that all to Helmuth?
No, we have some, I think.
You have all of it except for like a tiny bit that you gave to Helmuth.
Yeah, we gave him a
Okay.
sample.
Mm-hmm.
We only gave him the sample. Okay.
All right, do you have what you want, or what are we doing here?
Kind of like to ask another question.
It still seems fairly quiet, like another patrol won't be back for a bit.
Gotcha. Can I find any records of, like, problems they've run into? Maybe kind of things like, you know, we were attacked in this area, or, like, we've been really struggling with this resource. That kind of thing?
Yeah, go ahead and make a mental check.
That's garbage. I'll go ahead and throw hero points at that. Hey! 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. Yeah, okay. So, as you start looking through this, you start to uncover some maps because they've been making little notes. And you would be able to see currently what the impure and the infected have mapped out. So, this is currently all the stuff they have. What they're having the most trouble with is something that they refer to as the underway. This is a secret back way into the area beyond the Grey Gate that was heavily warded by Voyant, but is not as heavily as the gate itself. Accessible through many of the underground sites, across Lords itself. And as you start to look at this, Vicha, the underway completely crisscrosses the Lord's area. It is a massive interconnecting tunnel system, filled with dungeons and hidden locations. They don't have it fully mapped because it is actively hostile to the infected and the Van Rome virus. It seems like Voyant put certain protections down there to help block really this sort of magic from seeping down there. And especially they have never been able to get to the opposite side of the Grey Gate through the underway itself. And so that's their main problem that they're dealing with. As for a long time they just tried to go the easy way but could not. Still trying to get through the twinkling towers of Shaith and that protective field. Thus far, have not been able to. But those seem to be their main issues.
Gotcha.
Not sure if this would be something that would have come up in my previous question, or if this is a new thing I'd have to roll for. Is there any information as to the status of their shapeshifter?
Looking, from the information you would have previously gotten, there would be no additional information on the status of their shapeshifter. But you can try and look into the documents they have here to see if there's anything about Orianne.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. Mm-hmm. I still think they were clear from patrol for a little bit.
Odds are you're still probably clear, yeah.
I don't want to cut. What do you think, Vicha? Caleb?
If you're concerned, it could be a good idea. Maybe, I think finding information on the whereabouts of any of the eminences would be useful.
Okay, yeah, I'll sift through.
Gotcha. Make a mental check then.
Oof.
2? Okay. Then, with a 2, as you're looking through, you gather Orianne has likely not stayed in Lords. She's likely about, not in Darmium, not in Ghislaine. There is a chance she might be on this side of the Grey Gate. Not really sure. It's, 50-50 shot, really. You gather that they try and keep her operations fairly secretive. And, really, she kind of has a lot of free reign to do whatever she wants, being a very high up eminence. And as you're
kind of beginning to look through this information. The door opens, Vicha, as you see just a shambling impure enter inside. Had walked quietly, you weren't really expecting it. Maybe Quinn just so happened to, like, send them to get something new. I rolled a 1 on a d10. It had slowly been ticking down from d20, d12. With this d10, they enter inside. And as it sees you, you begin to hear it give off this, like, cry that begins to alert the camp of your location.
I wouldn't have been able to shoot it the second it walked in.
You're looking through the maps, documents, and charts. Like, I'm not assuming that you have your bow in hand as you're flipping through maps.
So we did not notice it until it started making the alert noise.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's book it.
Yeah.
All right. Then I'd like both you to once again make a physical check, as I'm assuming you're just like diving out the window.
Pretty much.
I can blink out, but could I try to just grab some more random papers, just see if I can grab anything useful on my way out?
Sure.
Oh my.
Okay. Do I need to make the check for since I'm just blinking, or?
No, this is for running
Okay.
as well.
Gotcha. So still making it. Okay. Oh, okay. Nice. Oh, not nice for Alon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no.
So, as you blink out, you kind of have a head start going, Vicha. As Alon bursts through the window with Diana right behind, the whole dry dock answering the call as well as many patrols. Boudica and Neza up on the hill with Polydectes, Randall, and Ocean, you begin to hear the cries go up from amongst the camp. What are you doing?
Okay, they probably ran into some trouble. Everyone ready to run?
Yep.
I am.
Okay, Boudica, can you carry Randall?
Yep, of course. And I'm gonna go ahead and pick him right up.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Cool.
Did we see Vicha and Alon and Diana all running?
You would see them running, yes. Vicha, Alon, are you running back to the Friends? Are you running to the ship, the Mantis? Like, what is your direction? If any.
I'm kind of thinking maybe book it for the ship. If it seems like we can get there, maybe without them realizing that's where we're headed.
How far is the ship from the house?
You're looking at maybe 1,000 feet. It's like a dash over open ground, down the beach, cross the docks, and then up onto the ship. I will say it's closer than running back to your party mates. If that means anything.
I'd say we go for that and hope they see us going towards it.
Yeah,
I think,
okay.
yeah.
I think the second Neza, because she already had in her mind whether or not they were going for them or the ship, and as soon as she sees they're not going for them, she'll say, okay, looks like they're going to the ship, quick.
Alright, I'm starting sprinting.
Alright, Neza's running too.
Okay, so Boudica and Neza running to the ship as well then.
Uh-huh.
Cool. Then,
Keeping an eye on Ocean and Polydectes to make sure that they're doing okay.
yes. At this point then, we will be entering a skill challenge as you need to get to the ship without being, ideally, caught. So, who wishes to go first?
Can I use Mental to use Wizard's Spellbook and make sure the ship is just about as ready to take off as it possibly can be without us physically being on it.
Sure. What are you doing to get the ship prepared?
If it's like tied up or anything, she'll try to undo that rope. If it's like shored, she'll try to push it just a little bit till it can catch water. Things like that. If there's like a boarding plank, we can jump.
Okay. Then make a mental check.
Will do.
At benefit
That is
1.
going. Oh, awesome. That is going to be in total. Holy shit, that's 13 successes.
All right, so it's 2 to 1,
Max.
so it will be 6. Still
Okay.
pretty good. As Alon and Vicha, as you're running, you watch as this Fantasia-esque sequence begins to occur as the infected just start to fly off the ship. Anchor begins to raise, sails unfurling in this moment, the chain across the bow snapping in half as like everything is going right. Just the ship automatically preparing itself for travel.
Can I use physical because I am carrying Randall and I'm like, this is life or death, but not just for me, for Randall too. I am his arms and his legs right now, and I have to be as strong as I possibly can be and get on that shit.
Does it help if you fly?
Use my physical to lift myself up into the air with my fly and fly towards the ship so I can hopefully get there and start getting it prepared.
Gotcha. This will be a difficult one because flying would also leave Neza, Ocean, and Polydectes behind. 3 of the least athletic people in your party to make their way to the ship as well. I'll say you can do it, but we would go back to Neza at some point as well to make sure that she could get on the ship.
Okay, maybe instead of preparing the ship, what Boudica will do instead is start flying. Well, she's got Randall, so maybe her goal is I am going to get the least athletic people on the ship by flying back and forth, since that is quicker.
Okay. Then go ahead and make a physical check at detriment 1. It's back and forth. The entire camp is, now knowing that you are there as you're flying through the air.
4 successes.
All right. 2 to 1, so it will be 2 as you start picking up other party members, trying to shuttle them back and forth.
I'm not sure if it'd be physical or mental, but can I sort of, attempting to keep a clear head despite how things have gone, just try to guide our small, separate group, me, Vicha, and Diana, to keeping an eye on all of the infected scattering, stopping us when I see people coming, making sure we move fast enough to not be spotted, that sort of thing?
Yeah. I'll say this is up to you. Physical or mental, whatever you prefer. As it can go either way.
Okay.
2? Alright. So that'll be 1 success. As you do begin to direct traffic back and forth. People running this way and that. You are able to navigate the party kind of up onto the ship or in that region. However, Vicha, at this point, you're being surrounded. It will become combat soon.
Could I use physical, kind of using Warden in a way to just kind of keep the party safe, kind of beating back the Impure that are trying to surround us. And Vicha would, kind of true to his promise to Borelli, and he would be trying to do it non-lethally, using like the butt of his sword or like the flat of it to kind of knock the impure like out,
So you're holding back.
holding them back. Yeah.
Not you holding them back. You,
Oh,
Vicha,
so
you are
yes, I am
holding back.
holding back in attacking them. Yes,
All right,
going non-lethal.
gotcha. Then I'll say here, any benefit would have gotten canceled out. Then just make a flat physical check. Need
Gotcha.
4 successes to avoid combat.
4 successes to avoid combat. 4 on this tracker or 2 on the tracker?
2 on the tracker.
2 on the tracker. Okay. I do at least get my benefit for physical. Ooh, does anyone have hero points?
I can give you 1 reroll, but that's all I have.
Okay, I can maybe net us 1 success if anyone has any others.
I don't
I
have hero points.
I think it's too late for me to try to give you a Crohn's tonic, so I got nothing.
That'll be 0 successes for Vicha then. He only got a partial one.
0. Okay, then in this moment, Vicha, as you are holding back, that is not the move in this situation. It is life or death. You pull your punches, they don't. As Alon, you kind of turn and you see Vicha being overwhelmed. And in this moment, as you start to like run forward to try to help, you hear a laugh. It seems you returned. And hopping up onto the ship, Alon, you'd see one Quinn Hayes. Good to see you again, Alon. It's been too long. I don't see
Here
how
long
you've
enough.
around. Where do you
And
run off
business
to?
elsewhere.
Elsewhere. That's good for us then. And at this point, you see moving towards the ship as well this massive, many-headed beast as Diana readies her bow next to you. Boudica, as you're flying others in, you're gonna have to clear this ship. But it is here where we will end the session for today. As next week,
Oh boy.
we'll pick up with the escape from the docks.
Lord have mercy.
But all of you can take a level up and 5 hero points since you got to the other side of the Grey Gate.
Cool.
I like that you do lots
Thank
and
you.
lots of campaign prep only for us to never touch it ever.
That is such a cool map. I'm so sorry. It looks really cool. Holy shit.
And from the sound of it, you had a whole second map for the
Oh yeah,
underground passages.
there's a whole second map for the underground. You've only
Man.
been seeing half the map the entire time.
Man,
Seeing half the map, we've been seeing a quarter of the one map.
Technically, I mean, then you have, if you want to add in the dungeons in the Underway, dungeons in Glane, some of the stuff in Shaith. Like, I mean, you've probably seen a fourth might be generous. Maybe it's like a sixth of the map.
Hey guys, spirit or stamina?
I was about to ask spirit or physical. What if we both did spirit and did spirit buddies?
I don't know if we're buddies. What level are you at with spirit?
I didn't necessarily mean equals, just buddies.
I did the old Boudica special. Punch just a little bit harder and a little bit better.
Sure.
think I'll go for spirit. I now have a whole 3 spirit.
Oh my god.
I could have a whole 3 physical if we wanted.
Just don't understand how you live like this.
Yeah, my stats are looking at 10, 10, 7.
I mean, 13 mental successes.
Sure.
That's how I cope. That's how I live with this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, we'll see. Again, in combat, when you literally can't succeed on saves.
Yeah, although I don't have stamina. Wait, actually, would my stamina points have come back?
No.
Hang on.
I might be a little bit fucked.
Also, you can't fight.
I know that. Don't worry, I got a plan.
Okay.
I'm a very
You,
tired.
you want to run us by
soul.
that? Or run it by us?
Thank you for this session.
May I?
I'm very sleepy.
Fair.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh,
Good
good
night.
night.
Oh, good night.
Night.
May I?
Sure.
Can I read out the list?
Sure.
Not only are my stamina points reduced to 0, Landon, shut the fuck up! Sorry. He saw the session was over and decided to try to shout more things into the microphone. Anyway, I have 0 stamina points. I may not lie or be deceitful. I may not be hostile to other creatures. I may not willingly destroy property. And I may not say the word butter. So that's gonna be fun.
Interesting. So
Yep.
you got all the stone effects layered on you.
Apparently. It would be very fun if one of those stones gave you the ability to say butter in all languages, but nothing else.
One of the stones is like the Rosetta Stone that allows you to speak and understand all languages.
Oh, that's fine. Oh, that's fine.
It's great here.
Sorry for ignoring your stones.
Passed by all of it.
Sorry. But I have a way around the hostile to other creatures. Because while I can't be hostile to other creatures, I do genuinely, so deeply, want them to be cured. So getting cures from from Boudica, who I believe is carrying them right now, and then attempting to stick them with it. In my opinion, I don't think that's necessarily hostile. They might be hostile towards me and be trying to fight back, but legitimately she's just trying to help.
If a doctor sticks a patient with a needle against their will, is that a hostile act?
It depends.
It's not.
In
It's not
psychos-
It's not. It's not an it
It's not
depends.
Well, in psych hospitals, for example, I know they have to deal with that a lot, where then afterwards the patient's like, hey, I'm so sorry for fighting back against you. Thank you for doing that. And, they're like, oh, no problem. One could argue
Like,
systems
hospitals are
mind-altering.
pretty
Yeah.
well known for abuse.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
too.
that's one they're also
I didn't-
not in the
not
right
all the
mind
time,
and a
but-
ward of the state.
Mm-hmm. In
Yeah,
theory, these guys
also-
are not in their right mind either.
I mean, it's still perceived hostility from them, but also you have a physical of 2. I think if anyone's trying to, stab them with a needle, it should be someone who has a physical that
Much
lets
higher
them do
than
that.
yeah. Well, I can set up a little globe of invulnerability for us and our protected populations, and prepare the cure in there, then toss it out when it's ready.
We'll see. The longer this battle continues, the worse your odds are.
There.
Because there will
It
just
might
be
be best
numbers.
to. What if I just turbo speed our boat and essentially yell, hey, everybody grab on right now, and then turbo speed so they all fall off?
I mean,
They're already
Quinn
on
and the Hydra are
deck.
on, yeah.
Yeah, that way it's like, we do the thing where we accelerate really quick and then brake really hard, so they all tumble off.
That affects you
We
guys
run
too.
again. Through God, anything is possible. So jot that down. We got this.
I think since you can't be hostile, that you should probably stick to trying to buff us in ways.
Yeah. Buffing
We-
as well as protecting those that can't fight as well, like Ocean and Randall. And Polydectes, who is hurt.
I was considering that under buffing, yeah. Just kind of doing things for us rather than doing things against them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
because you have multiple very, very, very squishy NPCs.
Yeah.
Randall has 5 stamina. I believe Ocean has 5.
Is Polydectes still not an Aether Soul? After everything he's been through?
No.
Damn, what is it gonna take? Dude got bankered, and he's still not an Aether Soul.
Trauma doesn't make you an Aether Soul.
That's fair. He survived? Question mark?
That doesn't do it either.
He had a whole bunch of stuff happen. I'm sure he's fine.
Alright, I should go feed the cats. But good night, thank you for the session.
Yeah.
Good night.
I got to do so much reading.
Ugh.